I'm Amanda DiVito. Welcome to my podcast, At the Kitchen Table, where we guide, inspire, and connect entrepreneurs mostly. I'd like to welcome my guest today, Brian Saegar, with Be Free. Brian, tell us, what is it, in fact, that Be Free does, and how did you come into your business?
Oh boy. It's Be Free Organizing and Move Management. So what we do is specialize in basically everything the movers don't do when it comes to the move management side, which is we help clients sort through a lifetime of stuff, figure out what they want, what they don't want.
Which is so needed.
I think that's one of the hardest parts of a move, because most people say, I'm moving in 3 weeks, but I'm not ready for the movers. And what that means is there's this whole slew of things they need to do. And so we've come in and we're capturing that marketplace.
Yeah.
So we help sort, downsize, then we pack, we have the movers move, and then we unpack them and organize them into the new space so that it happens within a day as opposed to months living in boxes.
Yeah. And, from the business seat I sit in, I see people struggle to do the thing that you could do for them relatively seamlessly.
Yeah.
So you come into this business how?
I'm a nerd. I was doing carpentry amongst other things, and I was on a job site one day, and I had this feeling at the end of the job when I was cleaning up. I was tidying up the job and stacking lumber and lining my guys out for the next day, and I just had the experience I was having while I was doing that.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is how I want to feel every day. If I have to figure out how to trade my time for money, I want to feel this way. Right? So, and it would just hit me like it was just a known thing. So I did a little bit of research. This was in 2006, 2007, so it was way before organizing was a thing.
Yeah.
And I found someone who was doing it, and I worked under her for like 3 jobs, and I was like, dude, I was born for this. And so it's been ever since then, I've been doing it.
I love it.
Yeah, it's been super fun.
So super highly organized, just your brain is organized, and do you have a brain for it, right? And you just have a skill, or was it honed?
Definitely honed. Like especially in the beginning, I would work off feel. I would walk into a space and be like, oh, this feels terrible. It feels too tight. It feels too cluttered. There's too much that. And then I would just work off of that. And just over the years, it's been like 17, 18 years now, I developed systems on everything that needs done, whether it's an organizing job where people are not moving, or it's a move management job where they are moving.
And so one of the greatest needs is seniors, but in fact, it's broader than that, right?
Way broader, yeah.
So who are your clients?
Like one of my clients is a 15-year-old young man who is severely depressed, high ADHD, suicidal watch. So his room and the house he lives in is kind of represents the state of his mind. So we do a lot of things like that, anywhere from that to, again, we've had families where we were with them from moving them out of the house they've lived in for 40 years, move them into independent living, transfer them into assisted living, move them into memory care, and then when they pass away, we help the family clean out the estate. So we've gone from, again,
a bedroom
and a garage to a full life process.
Yeah. You'll do garages, laundry rooms,
yeah.
kitchens, pantries.
Love it.
Yeah.
So that stuff's fun to me. It's super fun. Like, it's like, you think about M&Ms on the table, right? You got a slew of them. Like, put all the red ones together, put all the orange ones together. There's something about my brain that I really enjoy doing that. So,
Yeah.
So it's fun to have a job where I get to do that.
Why do you think people hesitate to ask for help in this space? Because we do a lot of. I've by accident ended up in your business doing move management for people. Mm-hmm. Because I can't sell a house until the move management is done, and so on accident I've gotten to do part of your business. And actually I can feel what you're feeling. There's a real satisfaction in like completing the project. There's a real satisfaction in bringing a cluttered room or an ugly room to beauty or to organized. And so I feel that, but people are really hesitant to write a check for this. Is it shame? Is it embarrassment? Is that some of it? Or is it just people are tightwads? Or I don't know. It's
a little bit of everything. So what I find is it's usually people absolutely want the help, but then we all have this mentality of, I got this, right? It's especially our generation and older.
Yeah.
Like we're just doers, right? Like the younger generation, they're like, why would I do that? I got money. I'm just going to pay for it, right? It's not even a question.
That's funny.
And the seniors, they're like, no, I worked hard for this money. I've been saving it a long time. Like I'm really picky on where I want to put it, and I can do this.
Yeah.
Until they can't. And then that's when usually their kids call us and say, hey, my mom just fell and broke her hip. She's in rehab right now. She can't go home. She's got to go straight to independent. You mind helping us out? And then that's where we come in.
Yeah, well, and it's so interesting. Often people in not vulnerable situations, but certainly a vulnerable time in their life can acknowledge, like, this is actually beyond what I can do right now. I need help.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about, like, what is it that your team comes in and does, like the physical do?
Yeah, that's great. We call it the Be Free method, and that's the systems that I've been developing for long time. The first thing we do is we come in and we analyze the space. Okay, so if it's a move, for example, we're going to start in their C space. Like some of our differentiators real quick is we like to come in 2 to 3 months prior to the move as opposed to, hey, let's do this in the weekend before the move. It's too much. It's too stressful on everybody, including my staff. So we come in 3 months prior. We're going to look at all the C spaces, and C spaces for us are storage room in the basement, garage, above the garage, like all the places that aren't going to affect their daily living. And we're going to start there, and we're going to start our downsizing process. What do you want? What do you not want? Clean those areas up. That way, when we get to the B spaces, which is the spare bedroom, spare bathroom, living room, stuff like that, the things that they want but they don't need until after the move, we can get that boxed up and out of the way, and they end up going into those C spaces that have already been processed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way we do it is we bring a 6-foot table, and we literally sit our client at that table, or they can stand, or they can help out a little bit if they want. But we bring, instead of walking through the house saying, do you want this, do you want this, do you want this? We literally bring, okay, here's all the books from around the house. Here's all your shoes from around the house. And we put it in a conveyor belt. Literally, we slide it across the table in front of them, and they say yes, no, yes, no. And then it goes into, like, we have 15 boxes built, and they just go into these themed boxes. And once all the decisions are made, we then pull the trigger and turn all those decisions into actions.
Wow.
Yeah. So they don't need to lift a finger through the whole process.
Right. And when the physical goods are being moved around, the decisions become so much easier.
So much easier as opposed to walking around. Like, yeah. It's, yeah. It disrupts. You have to disrupt, because if they live there for 20, 30 years or whatever, like, you have to disrupt that. Otherwise, there's just a frozen state that they get into.
What if you have too many decision makers? What if, like, the kids are there and they're like, Mom, you don't need those shoes, and why are you keeping all that? You get that, some of that?
Oh, yeah. What we do is separate. All right, you go in the garage and you go in the basement, and we have our teams. We just separate our teams to tackle that.
And how do you manage people who want to keep everything?
That's a good question. It does happen. It doesn't happen as often as people think. We do.
Well, because by the time they've hired you, they realize they can't keep everything. Correct. Or they're going so far down in size that they know they have to make decisions.
Correct.
Sometimes it's just hard. People just aren't prepared to make those decisions.
Yeah, it's tough. So we start with low-hanging fruit, high and low. So the low-hanging fruit low is, I definitely don't want this. I know that. Boom, good, gone. Definitely want this. Absolutely never going to live my life without this. Awesome, good, keep. And then anything in between, we can compare to what they've decided in that theme to get rid of and what they've decided to keep, and it helps them make that decision so much easier.
Right. Do they ever get a second look at some of those goods?
Always.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and we never make decisions for them. It's like we just coach them. Like, I tell my staff all the time, like, we coach them to coach us on what they need done, and then we pull the trigger.
Yeah, right. There's this reciprocity that happens in the relationship where it's like, I'm not going to throw something away or whatever that they don't want thrown away. But so from a strategy perspective, do we bring it, like, in a big move with a lot of stuff and a lot of junk? Yeah. You bring a dumpster?
Yep. Sometimes we also have a dump trailer that we just haul off. You know, the best case scenario is we're moving things out as we go. Yeah. So sometimes we'll have a roll off, and sometimes we'll just use the dump trailer. We'll take donation away as we go. Sometimes, like, usually on the low-hanging fruit, yes, absolutely don't want it. We can get all that stuff out as we go. Yeah. Because once that momentum starts, like, that's when people really start to get it. They start to see it, and they start to engage in a better way.
Yeah, that's right. So the other ancillary service that circles your universe is how to get rid of the stuff that's hard to get rid of. What do you do with things?
I tried estate sales, online auctions. I rented a warehouse for a while, and I hated every second of it. Yes. Just that is not where I want to be. Like, my passion is in the downsizing process. So we hire a third party for some stuff. It's either going to go to the trash, it's going to go to a donation, or a third party is going to come in and sell it. That's, like, basically the options. Or it goes to, like, Charm up in Boulder, where it's styrofoam can be recycled, hard plastics can be recycled, electronics can be recycled, mattresses, like, anything that can be recycled, we're going to do that.
Yep. You load that stuff up and make a trip.
Oh, yeah.
And as a part of your service, basically, you're making a trip for paint or chemicals.
Yep.
mattresses.
Those we actually don't do anymore because as a business, there's a wait list at the centers and it's extremely expensive for us, but we'll put it in the back of their car and literally have one of my staff ride with them and drop it off because it's free and it's instantaneous for homeowners.
That's right.
But for businesses, it's really expensive.
Oh, I see.
And there's a timeline.
So you're almost better off having your homeowner oversee that aspect of it.
Correct.
Right.
And I'm a yes guy. So when people are like, hey, can you do this? I'm always like, no, I can't. And I hate to say no.
I know.
It's just,
it's just, you got to kind of stay with sort of some of the core business. So who were you before you were a professional organizer, a freer?
A freer.
Before you were a freer?
I taught yoga for 22 years, did massage therapy.
Oh, you were always a freer. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. And then a carpenter. And I left my hometown of 1,200 people pretty young, and I lived in 10 states in between there and here, for everywhere from Oregon to California to Maine to the Virgin Islands and a bunch of places in between.
Was that by choice or because your dad was in the military?
No, that was me on my own.
Moving around.
Yeah. I mean, obviously running from demons from my childhood, but I thought I was out adventuring, right? Mm-hmm. But so I had 18 years of just living in a state for a year to a year and a half, and then uprooting my life and going and exploring something else. And then when I landed here, that's when I really found the passion of, like, I've always loved organizing, but that's when it kind of like became a thing.
How did you sharpen your entrepreneurial pencil then? Because as a bit of a free spirit, to be fair, right? You were like doing a lot of the seeking and finding and a little bit of entrepreneurship along the way. Yeah. But actually, I find you to be very well organized and very easy to work with, and a very good business owner, and somebody that I find to be in a place of success. Yeah. And I think that's probably not natural for you, right? Being a bit of a free spirit. So how did you come to sharpen that skill when it's not inherent for you?
Pure grit.
Yeah, hard work.
Right. Yeah, I would put 70 to 100 hour weeks in for a few years, and just the perseverance. Like, the only time people fail is when they quit, and I kept telling myself that, right? And I'm still not where I want to be, right? So I'm still in this process of growing. But it's like, this is my vision. My vision is 200 vans nationally. We've got 2 right now. So, like, you got to start somewhere.
Right. Well, big, audacious. And if you can't think it, double it.
Totally. Like, why not? Right. And even if I get a quarter of the way there, then awesome.
I love it.
So that's my big vision. That's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
And then the strategy to get there is just more systems, right? It's like, okay, how are we going to get to that? Well, let's systemize that. That's what I want. Let's reverse engineer it. And then it's honestly my hobby at this point. It's like, I love the process of being an entrepreneur, and I hate it because it's like, you never know if you're going to financially make it. You're doing all this stuff and you're just like, boy, I hope this pays off someday. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I'm living fine. I've got an income from it, but at the same time, it's like, as you know, as an entrepreneur,
totally,
it's this thing. It's not for everybody.
I recently had a friend, and he said, at any given time, I feel like I'm hanging on the cliff and I'm barely hanging on. And he says, but every time I look down, my feet are just 2 inches from the ground. Mm. And it's that kind of, I
love that. Yeah.
It's this kind of fear, right? Or this, maybe that's, his motivator perhaps is probably fear, but like, there's this fear mentality that you're just in fact hanging off a cliff, and that at any moment the business could not be there, or that the phone won't ring, or that there won't be people who need help organizing, or that people will stop buying Amazon and shipping crap into their house. And so don't worry, the goods will keep coming in, and somebody will have to keep getting them out.
Totally.
But at any moment you feel like you could fall off the ledge, and really the ledge isn't that far down.
Correct. It's interesting because my industry has been seen as fluff, as the organizing industry. Oh, you're going to come in and clean my pantry up or my closet.
Oh, sounds amazing. But what they don't see is like, oh, I'm getting ready to move, and that's the best time to process through a lifetime of stuff, because I need to touch everything I own to get it into a box. So why not take an extra couple hours to process through that? So that makes the move cheaper. It makes the other side of the move extremely streamlined. And a lot of people, especially with our aging population right now, there's 50 million senior citizens. There'll be 75 million by 2030. Like, they can't do this anymore, right? So, their kids are working.
Correct.
Their kids have kids
in California or New York,
whatever, right? And their kids physically can't help them,
right? So educating people on what we do, and then convincing them that it's not fluff, that it's actually like it's a viable need out there, has been has been interesting to say the least.
And they kind of can't just be attached. Like, there's this mentality that people think there's this market for used furniture.
Oh my God.
And
yeah, it's called
there's
a
no
dump.
market for used furniture. Yeah. You and I know there's no market for used furniture. And so in some ways, you know, people are like, well, I could sell that, or I could sell this, or we need to make a few dollars on that, or we need to make a few dollars on this. And in fact, they often are so locked up.
Yeah, that's one of the stick points. That's what freezes people, is that right there. So having that real conversation, what I typically do is have a third party come in and have that conversation with them. I can tell them during a walkthrough, I'm like, I don't think you really have enough here to have an estate sale. You might be able to sell 2 or 3 items, but don't take my word for it. Let's get a third party in here.
Well, and like I have a client right now who has her mother and dad's house has been frozen in time.
Shag carpet still?
Blue.
Yes.
Shag carpet.
I love that.
And sadly, the family is so locked up in this house.
Yeah.
And, you know, I walk the property, I can see they're making a small dent. But I mean, I walked the property first in the summer of 19. I walked the property again in the summer of 25.
Wow.
And sadly, they have more to do.
Yeah.
And so it just shouldn't take that long for people to process mother and dad's life. Like,
Yeah.
that's a sad state of affairs, actually. And so,
well, it's obviously they can afford it, right? To sit on it. A lot of people can't. Like there's proactive and there's reactive, right? If they're running out of money and they have to sell the house and they have to deal with this, that's a react. They have to do it. But if everything's fine and they're just like, I just don't want to deal with it, which is basically a cluttered closet, right? Like, I just don't want to deal with it. I'll find my clothes when I need them, right? Some people just have the luxury of that.
yeah, well, and some people spend time trying to sell a $200 or $300 or $400 this
Yeah.
at the expense of living.
Totally.
It costs them something
Yeah.
to try and get a few dollars.
Yeah.
And in fact, there is a cost to that.
Totally.
And that's hard for people to see too.
I coach people through I call it the couch analogy, right? So if you got a couch and like, man, I'd like to sell that for $50. I'm like, if you don't sell it for $50 and someone comes and gets it for free, you're going to have to pay $200 for someone to haul that thing off. So just giving it away for free saves you $200.
Well, that's right.
Right.
And my husband and I joke, like on Facebook Marketplace or any of these like posting places where you can make things go away.
Yeah.
If you put it on for $1, it will not disappear. If you put it on for free, it will.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that people just need to say, there's a cost to me holding on to these things and giving them away and sometimes for free. Now, what do you do with really valuable stuff? What if you are liquidating a property and there's real jewelry or real coin collections or real things of value?
Yeah. Third party. Yeah. I have zero picker in me. Like, you know, the pickers that, oh, that's a coin from that. Like, there's not a bone in my body that cares about that stuff.
Okay.
So I call in people that love that. Like,
Yeah.
I love what I do. And I love that there's people that do what I don't like to do. So
You have access to
utilize
these
them.
vendors, and that's also part of your service, right? I'll
Yeah.
call the coin guy. I'll call a silver person, and so
People-
there's people who do all of this.
Totally. My job is to I tell my staff all the time, don't make anyone do math ever. Like, don't make them think about, well, how am I going to get rid of this? How am I going to, like, figure it out. If we don't already have the answers, we've been doing this a long time. So like
Yes.
17 years, we've got most of the answers figured out. And if we don't, we're going to figure it out for them so that they don't have to lift a finger and do the homework themselves.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And for most people who have a lot of material possessions, they don't want to do the math.
Right.
Best not to see the sausage be made.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have this sort of core principle, which is like stick to what you're good at, stay out of the ancillary businesses, right? Because that could sucker you in pretty easily.
As Alex Hermosi says, it's just the woman in the shiny dress or the woman in the red dress from the Matrix movie.
Yes.
It's a whole philosophy. But yeah, I mean, I used to clean gutters in the beginning. Anything I could do, right? I was in a tree 30 foot off the ground with a sawzall in a hand as an organizer. I'm like, hey, this property needs cleaned up to get the house on the market. Oh, I got this, right? And now I'm like,
Yeah.
somebody else has got
Somebody's got to do that. It takes all kinds to ready a house for sale. And most people, if they're in the mode, they'll get going and find somebody to do the other thing that needs done.
Yeah.
And I mean, centralizing the resources isn't sometimes all you have to do is say like, I have a handyman, he'll climb up there, or I have an arborist, he'll get this, or I have and so sometimes people just need a guy.
Yeah.
And so you got a lot of guys,
Yeah,
right?
I got guys.
You got guys. Yeah, guys and gals for all the
peeps.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Looking back, who was like the most influential people in your life? Like who influenced your path? Who gave you this sort of grit or the hard work or the tenaciousness? Where did that come from? Like, do you have a mentor?
No, I don't want to go too far in this, but I grew up in a pretty abusive childhood. And I think that what that creates inside of a person is just like the survival.
Yeah.
Like I need to survive at all costs. I need to know if I'm safe in every situation. Like you just become this way of being in the world. And that has gotten me through so much. And then my dad, he was one of the hard people in my life, but he changed, he found God, changed, and he became one of the most amazing men that I've ever met. And so being able to watch him turn into this absolutely loving, amazing human being really gave me the opportunity to just stick with my integrity. Like, do the right thing anytime, whether people were looking or not. It's like the mission statement for our company is work hard, make our ancestors proud, and have fun doing it. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
So.
And to be fair, I think we all sort of can like root back some of our life's trauma, if you want to use that word, to point to future successes. And I think, they always say that, right? Like there's in successes, this failure.
Yeah.
But your observation was that this unsafe place created the man in you essentially that wanted you to go get organized. And there's some irony in that too.
Yeah.
Dysfunction into function or chaos into order.
So I follow quite a few entrepreneurs online, and I would call them mentors just because I get a lot of wealth from them, knowledge. And several of them talk about how it takes, like the true entrepreneur, not the true, I'm going to butcher this, but basically is like the more suffering you've had in the life, the more suffering you can endure as an entrepreneur. Because as Alex Hormozy says, and I'm not going to quote him verbatim, but he says, being an entrepreneur is like getting kicked in the shin. That's not what he says. Every single day, all day, and then with a glimmer of hope once in a while that your idea might succeed.
Yeah, that's funny.
And that's what it feels like as
I
an
read
entrepreneur.
was it a Japanese proverb? And it said something like, fall down 7 times, stand up 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like,
I love it. Yeah.
It is that, right? Which is you're going to get kicked in the shin and you're going to stand back up.
Right. And can you endure? Because not everybody can do that. Not everybody could stand back up. They'd be like, no, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to go work at Walmart or whatever. Right. Like, this is too hard. I don't want to deal. And so for some of us, it's like, no, this is just part of the game, right? This is just what it feels like to be an entrepreneur.
What is hard about being an entrepreneur?
For me, I think it's staff, right? So we get super busy and we're holding on for dear life because we have too much work and not enough staff, and things are great in that way. And then all of a sudden, the phone stops ringing for 3 weeks straight. And then you're like, oh my gosh, my staff's going to all leave, right? So there's this, then it's up to me to go and get work. So there's just this constant, if it's busy, there's this micro stress of, can we keep up with it? Can we not let things fall through the crack? We're a 5-star company still after all this time, and I really take pride in that and want to keep that. And then when it gets slow, all of a sudden the worry shifts over to, I have to go get work, so I got to put another hat on, right? As an entrepreneur, wearing all these hats, now I got to get work to make sure my staff doesn't have to leave to go get another job. So the stress is just pretty consistent. And especially at the level I'm at, we're not making a ton of money, right? Like I see other entrepreneurs just crushing. I'm like, man, I can't wait to be there and have their problems. But there's still problems at every level you're at.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. That sometimes small doesn't look mighty, but sometimes small is mighty. And sometimes big looks mighty. And sometimes it's big and not mighty.
Right.
And so, I think that's true. Every business at every size has its own sets of challenges. And so that's an interesting take. Yeah. Best piece of advice. What's the best piece of advice you would give a client? So maybe, just clients' advice. Like, how do you talk to your clients? What are some of the things that you tell them? Maybe some of the warning signs in their life and their business or things they should or shouldn't do?
As far as the organizing?
Yeah. I mean,
in general, yeah. One thing is, the first person I worked for as an organizer, one of the first things she said to me was, clutter is nothing more than postponed decisions. right? So when I go into a client's house, it's like all of this is just, you just haven't decided yet, right? Let's just make all of the decisions that need to be made and then turn those, you don't even need to, but we'll turn those decisions into actions. So for me, it's a lifestyle of keeping my keys where I know where they're at every day, keeping my phone where I know it's at every day, keeping my clothes hung in the closet, right? So there's no OCD about it. It's just I don't want to deal with the consequences of not living that way, right? So the advice for me would be, it's super easy to get caught up, especially if you hire a third party. Like we could come in, get you caught up, and then just have a lifestyle of maintaining. It's so much easier to maintain than start.
Well,
is
that's
what
right.
I found. Yeah.
Do you have some clients that you just have like a quarterly or a yearly revisit with? They call with some regularity because they'd like you to come back and just spruce up, touch up, or they're not inherently good at keeping up.
Yeah, totally. We have a maintenance program. So what we do is we'll go in, do the first big push, get everything, whether it's a move in or just a straight organizing job, create systems, and then we'll look at their behavior. We'll come in like 3 weeks later and be like, okay, this system didn't work because of this behavior. I'm not going to judge the behavior, but I'm going to say, let's move the system to meet the behavior a little bit. And then let's also talk a wee bit about that behavior, because if you're just coming into your room and throwing your clothes on the floor, I can't fix that, right? I can give you 3 laundry baskets in one room, and I've done that before.
Maybe
for
the
ADHD.
hamper will catch your sprawl.
Yeah. So it's like coaching them through, hey, this system works, but it didn't work for you. So let's move it. Let's adjust the system and then adjust your behavior a little bit. So at some point, usually within 6 months, we can find a pretty good balance to fit their life.
Right. What's your source of business? Who's referring these people to? How do they find you?
It's a good question. Our best referral sources are real estate agents, the senior population, so the salespeople at the senior communities, whether it's independent or assisted. I do a lot of networking around the senior industry, and we don't specialize in seniors just to specialize in seniors. We do it because that's the target audience that actually needs the help.
Yes.
And my passion is who needs us as opposed to who can afford us. And it's just too, I won't say lazy, but just like I can afford it. I don't really want to deal with it. Like I'll do that job and I don't mind it, but the need, like that really sparks me, because it's like I'm here to serve, right?
Yeah, that servant mentality certainly comes through.
Yeah.
It's interesting, I think there's so many. I've been recently tinkering around with this idea of like the board. And the board in your life is, financial management, move management, health management. And so for the aging population, there's these spokes of management for all these people who do these different things. And it is hard to create a board for an aging parent or for somebody who needs the board.
Tell me more about the board.
Well, the board is like the idea for me that like almost somebody could be the central consultant to all of the spokes of management because of how you have to self-protect your business to not be cutting the tree down.
Right.
And so the real estate agent ends up being a board member often because there's a piece of real estate to be sold. The move manager becomes the goods. There's goods that need moved, the stuff.
Yeah.
But you're not really a moving company. How's the business different than a moving company?
So I'm trying to disrupt the moving industry, right? Because a moving company is if they pack, they usually hire in a packing crew, and there's no processing, there's no sorting, there's no
right.
theming.
Just it all goes in a box. They don't care.
Totally. That's a moving company, and thank God for moving companies. I have nothing bad to say about them. And then they move the stuff, and then they drop off boxes in the garage, and then they go. Or in each room, right? Depending on the level of service. What they don't do is slow down, help people sort through a lifetime of stuff. Again, the conveyor belt, help them make those decisions, downsize, and then pack according to theme. And then on the other side, the unpack, again, movers don't do the unpack and they organize into the new space.
Yeah.
So it's kind of our niche.
Do you ever get calls of people who hired a mover, it all got packed, it all got moved?
Oh, yeah.
And then they're locked up in the new house?
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely. Storage units, same thing. Because what a mover will do is just throw everything into the storage unit or the house.
That's right.
I'm just going to use storage unit because this is a good topic I like to talk about. What we do in a storage unit is we go ABC on everything. A is I might need this first. When I open that storage door, like I might have this storage unit for 6 months while my house is getting built or whatever the scenario. Mom just passed away. We got to deal with this stuff. C is going to go in the back, right? I know I'm not going to need it. I'm not going to touch it. I don't want to throw it away. I don't know what to do with it. B is I might come in here and that might be one of the things I want. And then A is like, when I open that door, that's probably going to be the thing I want. So we get larger storage units than needed, and we make rows and we label everything so that they know exactly what is in every single box, as opposed to throwing a door open and being like, oh my God.
Right.
Because I've seen that 100 times.
Yeah, I felt that before.
Yeah.
I had a storage unit that I threw everything in, and when you came back for it, it's like,
Oh, where do I start? Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, this method actually is just so brilliant, and it's the stuff that you know because you're the professional, you know, and so it's so interesting. So the concept for me of the board is movers, move management, financial management, health management. That there's this place where you could create this centralized advisor who basically can go into the house and be the strategist for the management of all of that.
Yeah, I love that.
And so I got an idea I'm working on.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I mean, I see how your spoke becomes just one very essential need in this move management process. And it's why you and I know each other, right? Because all of a sudden you end up in an industry where people need help moving.
Or aging in place. Like we don't just do the move. Like we're 75% move management, whether it's seniors or the rest of the population, and then 25% just straight organizing, where we're not moving anything. We're just helping them figure it out. And a lot of that is the seniors who don't want to move. They don't want to downsize, or they have to downsize because all of a sudden they're using a walker for the first time in their house, or they're just wanting to age there, and as they say, be taken out feet first.
Yes.
Right? So there's no move happening, but they still want to do all the processing, because in America, maybe Europe too, like the main thing that I hear a lot is, oh, my kids will deal with that when I die. It's like, it's not their job. It's like, you made the mess. Your job is to clean that up so that your kids don't have to deal with that, right? Mm-hmm. So again, starting 3 months prior to a move, why don't we start 10 years prior to the potential death, right? And so you're not going to ride this bike ever again. You're not going to rock climb ever again. You're done painting, right? So why not start the downsizing process years before, you end up having to either do that proactive or reactive move into an assisted living or starting the age in place process.
Yeah, it's such an interesting idea. Like, you could actually gift your services to somebody, and what a gift that is. Yeah. I'm going to pay for Brian and his crew to come in once a quarter for several years.
Yeah.
And just help my folks deal with a thing, one closet at a time,
Totally.
one room at a time.
Totally.
See space.
Yeah, exactly.
One see space.
Yeah.
So you're going to keep building. What's next for you?
Yeah, what's next is I need to figure out client acquisition. So I've done a really good job of branding, building the back end of the business, from the finances to the training to the systems. Like, my goal is to be able to pick it up, drop it off into Salt Lake City, and have a solid system. So right now I'm probably 65% there. I'm proving the method, and it's all financial numbers, right? That's the proof of the pudding, is like, what
is it profitable? Can it work? Yeah.
Right. And we've proven that. So what I'm working on right now is really isolating from Longmont to I-70, getting 2 vans up to full capacity there, and then we'll do the same thing into the Denver branch, which is 2 vans in Denver. And then at that point, that's probably a year and a half, 2 years out, I'll drop a van in Fort Collins, hire 3 people, and just give them the support as if they were a franchise, but I'll own it just so I can figure out where the holes are and where the leaks are. Yep. Fix that. By the time we get to Colorado Springs, we should have it super dialed in. And if not, then we'll have a test subject. And then at that point, it's like there's no stopping us just to start going out nationally. Yeah.
Are there national companies that do this?
There's a couple that only work with seniors, and they only do move management.
Yes.
And then there's some super high-end bougie organizing, but there's no one doing what we do, how we do it in our methods.
Yes.
Like, there's just no competition for exactly who we are. I'm sure they all have their own methods and get the same stuff done.
Yeah.
But the way we do it and how we do it, we only work in 4-hour shifts because we don't want to beat our seniors up. Again, we start 2 to 3 months prior, and we'll do a shift in the C space, and then another shift in a C space. And as the move day gets closer, we'll start to move toward that A space. And like the day before the move, we're in there helping with the essentials.
Yep.
So just our methods are different, and our Timing is different, 4-hour shifts as opposed to going in and banging it all out in one weekend.
Yeah, it really exhausts the client if you do it that way.
Yeah.
You've kind of figured the formula out.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'll be looking to see how that franchise expansion goes. I think it'll be great. And I appreciate you coming on and telling us a little about your business and some of your trials and errors. And glad to have you as a friend and grateful for your work for our shared clients. And we'll look forward to seeing you down the road.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Brian. You bet.